Hello everybody, Adrienne here for Blue Fern Studios. Today I'm going to be doing a video tutorial with you creating a layout with Montage collection, invitation paper, and a wide variety of Blue Fern chippies. To get started, I'm just going to lay down some of my choices of chippies that I'm going to be using today. A few flourishes and some words. So I'm going to lay it down. And I'm going to be centralizing my design down the middle in a vertical fashion. I'm going to be using that photo, the adorable photo of my child. So what I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to prime my paper because I'm going to be doing a watercolor effect on the background, centralizing it down the middle, kind of playing off the beautiful flowers up at the top and bottom and that beautiful chandelier down the center. I'm not going to take my gesso the whole way to the end. You can if you would like, but I'm just centralizing my design today and don't want to waste my product. I'm just adding a nice thin layer, and the clear gesso is wonderful because you're going to still see the beautiful design underneath, but it is going to give your product some tooth, your mediums, and it's going to adhere nicely to the background and not soak through. So what I'm going to set that aside to dry. You can air dry it if you'd like. And I'm going to start priming my chipboard pieces. I have a few flourishes and I'm going to use the Cherish board, and I'm going to in here put some adhesive down. I'm going to add the adhesive in a nice thin fashion. I'm using a Prima soft gloss gel today. You can use glue or a stamp pad if you would like. But my choice of adhesive when I'm embossing is more of a glue type solution. I feel like it adheres better when I'm laying it down. So I'm going to take a wide variety of embossing powders. I'm using a white, a pink, and a bronze. I'm going to lay it down in a nice haphazard fashion. I kind of like it more. It's more playful and not so perfect when I'm just kind of throwing it down. So I'm just getting up some excess of the embossing powder and filling in here and there where the gaps where the embossing powder is missed. So I'm going to fold over my paper now so the embossing powder doesn't go flying when I use my heat gun, and I'm going to heat set it. And you want to wait until it's bubbling, but not too much. That's why it's important you don't add too much glue, because it will bubble to the point where it bursts, and then you'll have a white spot, and it's really does not look very nice. So I'm gonna just heat set this. Get it nice and melting. Beautiful effect. You're going to have a nice two-toned, texturized look to this. So I'm going to be adding multiple layers. First layer is the embossing powder, and later on I'm actually going to be adding watercolor. And it's going to look really neat. It's going to be different and very unique. And this embossing powder is nice because it's going to look metallic and really make the watercolor pop, and it's going to marry really well with each other. I'm just going back in and filling in the gaps again. It's always nice to add not enough at the beginning rather than too much, and then you feel like you ruined your chipboard. Just going in around the edges. And what's nice about the paper towel, if you use multiple layers, you can just fold over and you don't have to feel like your embossing powder is making a gigantic mess. Heat setting it again. You can actually see it bubbling on the video. I'm going to set that aside and let them just air dry. Be careful, they're very hot. Look at that. It's so textured and dimensional. It's gorgeous. So if you add your first layer, those are done. Now I'm going to go in and start on the other ones. And I'm actually not going to be using the bigger piece. I'm going to add the two smaller ones and the Cherish. I'm just going to again lay a nice thin layer of adhesive down. And start again with my embossing powder. My Cherish, I really wanted to make it pop, so I'm actually not going to be using a whole lot of the lighter colors. This is more going to be a centralized bronze color. It's going to give it lots of contrast and really pop against the beautiful shabby chic background. So again, I'm just going to go in and heat set it. Once your heat tool heats up, it really does melt the embossing powder much faster. That's why it's not taking so long. So you're pretty much set here. So I'm just going to set these aside and they're all done. So we are now finished with the first layer on our chipboard pieces. What we're going to do now is we're going to prime our last blue fern chippy, and this is going to be the focal point of our whole design tonight. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and prime this last chippy, and it's so gorgeous. It's very ornate. It's going to go really well with the design of the invitation paper from the Montage collection. So I'm just going to go in and completely cover it with this shabby chic pink embossing powder from Stampendous, and I'm just going to go over a thick layer of it and just fill it in. I'm going to heat set it. It's just really beautiful. It's very shabby chic, and it glistens. It has a little bit of gold specks that are just really going to go nicely with this Victorian looking paper and the beautiful roses and the design of the background. So just heat setting this, finishing it up. And you are done. Get a nice coat on it, and I'm just going to put it directly in the center. Just trying to play around with where I want to put my pieces. And I want my flourishes to kind of come jutting out from the sides at an angle. So I'm going back in, and I'm just going to fill in a little bit more with the bronze. Just really, just sparingly. You just want a little bit of bronze because it's really going to help it pop against the background, because I think I noticed that I wanted it a little bit of contrast and shadow to it to make it pop. I'm going to be using some more subtle watercolor effect directly onto the paper, and just adding the bronze is really going to help it look dimensional. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with my background. I'm just going to fill it in real quick, and I have several different colors. They're more pastel tones. Feel free to do any color that you want. I have a yellow I really wanted to match the colors that are playing in these beautiful roses up at the top. So I have a yellow, I have a peach, I have a little peachy pink, and a rose. So I'm just going to go in and fill in, and it's going to be very subtle at first. You can always add deeper hues as you go along, but to start out I just wanted to do a nice soft tones. Really want to get your background nice and wet so the watercolors can have a chance to move. So I'm adding this beautiful pink color to the background now. I believe it is an H2O in Dreams Bloom. And I'm just helping it along. I'm dabbing up the excess here and there and spritzing with some water that's in a water bottle. Just giving it some movement. Just kind of guiding it where I want it to go. It's a beautiful thing about watercolors. It's very forgiving, but you also can guide it where you want the design to be. It's very easy to work with. So I'm adding some color here and there, and I'm just spritzing it and making it more wet so it moves. Adding a little bit of splotches here and there. And just using my finger to dab off some excess. I'm adding a little bit of color to the edges here and there, just to helps bring your eye to the center and keeps it focused there. Doesn't feel so bare out on the edge. So I'm just dabbing off the excess that's still stuck in the pot. It's going to give a more vibrant tone now. Now for the fun part. So I wanted to do a multiple layer effect onto my chipboard pieces. So I'm actually taking watercolor, and it's very watery, but you want to get a nice consistency between watery and a little slightly thicker than that. And you just want to dab it directly onto the embossed chippy, and it's going to sit there on the surface. You can and the best thing to do with these is to let them air dry, because you're going to get a nice bubbled effect. It's going to look really beautiful and pop against that bronze and shabby chic pink. So you have that Dreams Bloom H2O. That's what I've been using. And it's really going to mesh well with the tones of the roses on the background and the paper. Now I'm going to go over my Cherish. Just finish that off. I'm just dabbing in some more of an orangey tone. Now this color is more of a mauve-y pink, and you're just filling in, pulling it all together, dabbing it here and there, and just marrying the colors, blending. I'm just adding a little bit of water to give it some movement, and you can always add more water or take away using a baby wipe or a paper towel. This color is really just adding a lot of contrast too, and I'm just kind of giving it some movement up and down the center of the page. And that's pretty much it.